Your marketing manager just exported your entire customer database to their personal email. Your sales reps can see every single deal and revenue metric in your company. According to a DTech study, 76% of employees admit to taking data from their former employees, but it's not because they're criminals, it's because no one stopped them. And here's the thing, your HubSpot permissions aren't set up correctly. You're leaving yourself open to security issues, liability, and data breaches. We're elite HubSpot partners and we have audited thousands of portals, and we see these same permission stakes over and over, costing companies deals, customers, and sometimes even employees. Today, we're going through exactly how HubSpot permission systems work, the specific settings that protect your data, and the configuration steps most companies skip when they shouldn't. HubSpot transitioned to seat-based pricing. So what does that mean for you? Every user costs money. Every seat type has different capabilities, and every permission mistake either wastes budget or creates security gaps. You've got a project manager who only needs to view reports. Under the old model, you might have given them full access because why not? Under seat-based pricing, that why not costs you hundreds of dollars every single month. On the other hand, you might have a sales rep who actually needs Sales Hub professional features, but to save some money, you assign them a core seat. What this means is that they won't have all of the sales tools they actually need to close deals. The permission system in HubSpot and the pricing model are all connected these days. Get one wrong and you're either bleeding money or you're blocking your team's productivity. Let's establish the foundation. HubSpot's access control runs on 3 separate concepts that most people mush all together. Getting these straight will save you hours of confusion. First is user identity. This is the person, their email, name, and their login credentials. Think of it as their passport. It proves who they are, but a passport doesn't tell you what someone's allowed to do once they're in the country. So, second one is seat allocation. This is what HubSpot charges you for. It determines the maximum capabilities a user has. And there are 3 seat categories you need to know. First is the view-only seats. These are free so users can see data, but they can't actually change or edit anything like contacts or move deals or create content. So this is great for executives who just want to see dashboards or consultants who need a little bit of visibility without editing anything. Second is core seats. These are paid and for operational users. You can create and edit records, run basic reports, and use forms and lists. This is your standard employee access. Finally, we have HubSpot-specific paid seats. This is premium for your sales, marketing, and service hubs. These unlock advanced features like sales sequences, playbooks, conversation routing, and automation. If someone needs these tools, they need the right seat. No seat, and they won't have access. Now, you do not have to buy HubSpot-specific seats for people who only use core capabilities. And don't assign core seats to people who need hub features. You'll either be wasting money or blocking your team from the tools that they actually need. Third is your permission sets. This is what a user is actually allowed to do within their seat. So, for example, we have 2 users that have identical Sales Hub professional seats, but completely different permissions. One might be a manager who needs to be able to see all the deals, but the other one might be one of your account executives who should only be able to see their deals in their pipeline. Same seat, different permissions and access. So remember here, the seat determines what's possible, but the permission set determines what's allowed. So here's how they all connect together. Identity proves who someone is. Seat allocation determines what they can do. And then your permission set determines what they're actually allowed to do within that seat. So when you add a user in HubSpot, you're doing all 3 together, creating the identity, assigning their seat type, and then applying their permission set. Setting up permissions without a clear framework leads to security gaps, wasted licenses, and frustrated employees who either can't get their job done or can't see things that they should. So guys, to avoid this, we have put together a HubSpot permissions implementation playbook that provides you with a phased plan to implement this successfully and help you avoid common mistakes. Grab it for free now using the link in the description, and it'll save you hours of trial and error. Now, let's get into the permission architecture, what you can control, and where to find it. Our HubSpot permissions break into two main categories, your object access and then your tool access. So let's start with our objects. This is where most security problems live, so pay attention. HubSpot has 4 core objects that store your customer data. First, we have our contacts. These are individual people and they have information like emails, phone numbers, and interaction history. Then our companies. These are organizations the people or contacts belong to, with revenue data, employee count, and deal associations. Deals are in your sales pipeline with revenue amounts, close dates, win and loss statuses. And then our tickets support requests for customer service, like issue types, resolution times, and customer satisfaction. For each object, you have control of 4 things. View. Can they see these records? Edit. Can they modify these records? Delete. Can they remove these records? And communicate. Can they send emails or make calls from these records? And finally, merge. Can they merge these records? For each permission, you can set a scope. Scope of everything. They can see all records across the entire company. Your CEO might need this, but your junior sales reps probably shouldn't have this. Then we have team only, where they can see records anyone within their team has access to, which is really good for managers who need visibility into their direct reports work. And then owned only. They can only see records assigned to them. And this is where most individual contributors should land. Now, let me show you where this lives inside of HubSpot. First, in settings, go to users and teams, and then permissions. When you create or edit a permission set, you'll see each object listed with this scope of options. Now, the export button is probably the permission that most companies overlook, and it is arguably the most dangerous one. A user with view access to contacts and export permissions can download your entire database in a matter of seconds. Every single email address, every phone number, every deal note, gone. So this permission is controlled separately from view access. Someone can have permission to view records on a screen, but not export them. So to fix this, restrict export permissions to managers and above. Individual contributors should almost never have access to bulk export data. If they do, make sure that they request it. And we highly recommend setting up notifications for when your database is exported, so you can actually see who completed the export and what they exported. This will allow you to catch potential data breaches super quickly. If you've created custom objects, products, projects, subscriptions, whatever your business tracks, each one needs its own permission configuration. Custom objects inherit your default settings initially, which means they're probably too open. Every time you create a new custom object, add configuration permissions to your launch checklist as well. Object access controls what data users see. Tool access controls what features they can use. Marketing tool permissions include email creation and sending, building and deploying marketing campaigns, landing page access, creating or editing conversation pages, form management, modifying lead capture forms, list building, segmentation of your database, workflow access, building or modifying automations. And that last one, workflow access, deserves special attention. This is because workflows can send emails, update records, create tasks, and trigger integrations. A misconfiguration in your workflow can email your entire database by accident. So make sure to restrict workflow creation or publishing to trained marketing and sales ops people. Sales tools permissions include sequence enrollment, adding contacts to automated outreach, meeting link creation, which is generating scheduling links, quote generation, creating pricing proposals, playbook access, viewing or editing sales scripts, forecast editing, modifying pipeline projections. And forecast editing is another one of those things that trip companies up. If every sales rep can edit their own forecast, you end up with sandbag numbers or wishful thinking instead of accurate projections in your CRM. Now, service tool permissions include the following: ticket creation and editing for managing your support requests, knowledge-based access, creating or modifying help articles, conversation routing for changing how chats get assigned, and customer portal management for modifying self-service settings. Now, let's talk about super admin access. Super admins can access everything. They can create users, delete records, modify integrations, export data, change billing, and access every single tool in every hub. There is no permission a super admin can't grant to themselves, and there is no record a super admin can't see or delete. There is no setting a super admin can't change. So here's our benchmark. If you have under 10 users, set a maximum of 2 admins. 10 to 50 users, a maximum of 3 admins, or 50 and over users, set a maximum of 5 admins. If more than 20% of your users are super admins, your portal is insecure, period. And guys, we have audited portals where the majority of users are super admins because it was just easier than configuring permissions. This is not a portal. This is a liability for your business, so make sure to get it right. Look, if you're watching this thinking, I have no idea what our current permission setup looks like, you're not alone. Most companies that we work with, they don't, or they just don't have the time. They set it up once during implementation and never touch it again. That's why we offer free consultation calls for professional and enterprise users where we actually look at your specific portal, identify those permission gaps, and map out exactly what needs to change. Link is in the description, so book a time and we'll tell you exactly where your risks are so you can fix them. Now, let's look at how this actually looks like to implement it, the team structure and role-based approach that make permissions manageable. Configuring permissions user by user doesn't scale. You need a system. HubSpot lets you create teams that mirror your organization's structure. And this is the foundation of scalable permissions. Here's how to set it up. First, create a parent team for each department: sales, marketing, service, and ops. Under each parent, create child themes for specific functions: inside sales, field sales, sales development, under the sales parent. Why does this matter for permissions? When you set object access to team only, a manager on the sales parent team sees all records for every child team. But a rep on the inside sales child team only sees what is within the inside sales record. The hierarchy creates natural visibility boundaries without you configuring each user individually. Next, create permission set templates for each role type. When you hire a new sales rep, you don't want to configure out all the permissions from scratch. You assign the sales rep the permission set that you already created. So name them clearly: sales rep, inside sales; marketing manager, email access; service agent, tier 1. When someone's role changes, you update their permission set instead of modifying all the individual toggles. Let me give you specific configurations for 3 common roles that our clients use. First, standard sales rep. Contacts: they can view, edit, communicate on owned only. Companies: view on team, edit on owned. Deals: full access, owned only. Tickets: view. Export disabled. Sequences enabled. Forecast: view only. Marketing manager. Contacts: view everything, edit on team. Companies: view everything. Deals: view only for pipeline visibility. Marketing tools: full access. Workflows: enabled. Export: enabled with audit logging. And customer support agent. Contacts: view and edit on owned. Tickets: full access on owned, view on team, knowledge base, read only unless they're a content creator, deals, no access, export disabled. Now, these aren't suggestions, they're starting points. Your business might need some adjustments, but if your current permissions don't look anything like this, you've got a lot of work to do. So let me give you a framework for thinking about permission management over time in your organization. Here's your quarterly permission audit checklist. 1, review super admin list. Anyone who shouldn't be there, remove them. 2, check departed employees. Any users who've left still have access, you need to deactivate them. 3, audit your export. Who can export data? Is that list appropriate? If not, adjust it. 4, review team assignments. As your organization has changed, are teams still accurate? 5, test permission sets. Have someone from each role type confirm what they can do and what they can't do to make sure it's accurate. HubSpot has a user audit log for enterprise users, so make sure you use this if you're paying for this tool. One more thing, and this connects back to where we started. When an employee leaves, you have a very small window, usually on their last day, to revoke access. Most companies wait until IT gets around to it, and then it can take days, sometimes weeks. So during the window of an employee leaving, make sure that you jump in immediately to turn off their access. Otherwise, you're leaving yourself open to liability. So guys, that is the full permission system, from pricing implications to team architecture to specific role configuration in HubSpot. And here's what I want you to do this week. 1 is count your super admins. If more than 20% of your users have access, fix it today. Number 2 is check your export permissions. Who can download your entire database? Make that list shorter. And 3 is review departed employees. Is anyone who left the company still using an account? Make sure to deactivate them immediately. These 3 steps take less than 30 minutes and eliminate your biggest risks and liabilities when it comes to permissions. And if you want an expert to do a full audit of your portal, we can help. We don't just look at permissions, but we can dig into your automations, integrations, and data. So make sure to book a consultation with one of our experts, link in the description. We'll tell you exactly what needs attention and what it'll take to fix it. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe if this video was helpful, and we'll be putting out new HubSpot content week by week. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.